All right, fantastic, great. Let's get moving now. Again, congratulations to everyone that is here now. I love seeing members that are taking charge of their investments. And again, Taboo is an investment as well. And I do see some new faces. I do see existing holders that have been with us for quite a long time. So again, we welcome you all. And on behalf of the core team, we are grateful and honored to be on this quest with you so that we are all going to garner and gain not only financial independence from Taboo, but to help ensure that we're all there for the ride and the movement forward to become that legacy business that I've spoken about and to really become that global powerhouse company that we all know deep in our hearts Taboo is going to get to and has all the fundamentals, ingredients, and foundations to become as well. Before I move forward, I do want to congratulate anyone who is on this call, anyone who is going to be listening in to this call later, to anyone who had the wits and the intellect and the smarts to buy our local bottom. Because I tell you something, with how undervalued we are now, I believe that the individuals that were able to buy that local bottom, I congratulate you for that. But with that being said, I do believe we will never see those prices again. You know, we've already bounced back from that local bottom. We're just about a 10 million market cap now. We're almost double where we were just a few days ago. And that speaks to the power and strength of Taboo. And to dive a little bit deeper into that, you know, I do want to make it very clear. This is something very clear I want to make with all of you. You can call it crass, you can call it bluntness, but this is just reality. Taboo is going to be here with or without you. I know that there have been members in our community chat that have been complaining. I know that people were worried and concerned about the recent price action, which now we are in a much more positive state than we were before. But some of the people that were looking at the glass half empty, there were an equal, if not higher proportionate amount of people that were looking at the glass half full. And for every person that was complaining about the recent price action, there was somebody new that was buying up and gaining a fantastic entry point on Taboo. And this is something that I want to share with all of you right now. See, there's a difference between investments and what we like to call gambling. I know that there was individuals in the chat. I know that there were comments being made about us being in an altcoin season now, or that there is a meme coin craze going on right now. With all due respect, meme coins are a form of gambling. If you want to go ahead and gamble your money in a casino format, you're more than welcome to do that. But just remember, when you go to bed tomorrow, there's a very high likelihood you're going to wake up and have $0 with you from what you put in. Whereas on this side, we have Taboo, currently a business that is pioneering the adult entertainment space. It has reached unthinkable highs back in the day. You know, we hit nearly 600 million market cap just over without even a working product. All we had was will, tenacity, drive, and a motivation to win. And now we're in a position where we're even better off than we were before, right? We need to remember one thing when it comes to investing. There's gambling and there's investing. Taboo is an investment. And the only person that can get in your own way is yourself. You are the only person that can stand in your way to financial freedom and to be with us on the inevitable rise to the top. See, one thing I need to make very, very clear. Taboo right now is on the cusp of an explosion. We are on the cusp of some amazing catalysts. We are on the cusp of trying to do what most cryptos have never been able to do before, and that is onboard Web2 users in a way where we are dialing into an existing user base in the millions with supermodel partners that have loyal fans to bring them onto our platforms and to get them to buy, own, hold Taboo and be able to utilize our native token with the gamification that we're trying to bring forward as well. And we're right on the cusp. And I tell you something, with every setback, there is an equal and greater comeback. And Taboo's comeback is coming. You know, I can feel it in my bones. We're getting there. This is beyond 2021 vibes. You know, you look at what we're doing now and the foundations we're putting in place. I tell you something. There are people messaging me every single day. You know what they tell me? You are doing some amazing work here. Taboo looks extremely interesting. But, based on the price action, I'm going to wait and see if there's more interesting price action. But look at the price action now. Look what we've been doing. Look at the positivity that has now happened. Positivity that I wish we had just a few days ago and last week. I went on to an Outgoing Daily interview, and that exposure has been massive for Taboo. In fact, there are many people now waiting on the sidelines, having now understood what Taboo is, and what do you think they're going to do the moment we have some explosive price action, the moment we create some new triggers, the moment live streaming goes live, or when our models start to talk about live streaming, which, by the way, that is happening imminently as well. Our models are now going to be posting, promoting, talking about live streaming, and trying to market and attract live streaming to their loyal fan bases. This is something that, I tell you, we're on the cusp of an explosion. I will also say one thing before I move forward, and I will talk about some fundamentals, such as live streaming, and I will give some technical reports as well on that. There's one thing that the team is in the midst of wanting to do right now. This is with the top tier exchange. This is something that requires, they actually approached us, by the way, to participate in this. It's something that will gain exposure for us. It's something that we've considered, this is something we can maybe do, that I believe, based on our marketplace now out, based on live streaming now on the way, based on all this global press release campaign that's ongoing, our model marketing campaigns that are on the way. It seems like good timing, but the team is hesitating a little bit, and I tell you why. If I'm a new investor today and I come into a chat full of negativity, trying to decide if I'm going to invest my hard-earned money into a project that I already feel is a good investment from my research, and I just want to get a handle on what the community and the social aspect of that coin is, and I come into a chat where people are complaining about the project having been in free fall and all this negativity, I would not want to invest. So we're hesitating. We want to pull the trigger on this, but the only way that James and I and the rest of the core team are going to do it is if we see some level of positivity that stays consistent in our chat. So this is what I hope from all of you. This is actually a very big opportunity for Taboo, but it requires, and this is a bonus opportunity, I will add to that, on top of our other exchanges that are on the way that we've also openly and publicly shared, but it will require our community to rally together and unify in a way where we can win and win as a unit. And so let's keep the positivity moving at all times so that the core team, based on the financial side of having to move forward with this, will feel comfortable in the fact that this is a good company-wide investment too. Now, moving forward, I wanted to share a couple of updates here. We did get onto the Outgoing Daily interview side of things. I believe that exposure was massive because we have now allowed people to know what Taboo is. And I will tell you one thing, right? The impact, it was never meant to be immediate. Back in 2021, and James remembers this as well, if he was on the call, he would agree with me. There was so many kinds and forms of marketing that we would do where we never had the immediate impact. It was merely to build the brand awareness, to build the exposure, and the consistency of doing that was trying to bring Taboo into the forefront of more people's minds. And sometimes people are not ready to buy right that moment, but in some later point in time, especially when we have even more price action, a domino effect will happen. And because we are now in a position where we are having working products, where we have actually had successful launches, where we have a bigger community, where we have stood the test of time when it comes to building public validity and trust, where we are leading this industry, where we do have a strong, high brand value, even though you may all think that, we've had this kind of price action or that. All of this culmination of activity, it's like adding fuel to a rocket ship, is what it is. So my belief is that when we rise, it is going to be parabolic. It will be parabolic. Before we said we want to hit $1 billion market cap, we hit 650. We're now talking about hitting 10, 15, 20 billion market cap ranges because We are in an industry that sells. We are leading that space. It is a growing industry. Adults are consumers of content like this, but we're doing it in a premium, classy, exclusive way. And this is something we all need to know. And this is something that's going to happen. And I hope that everyone here is going to be there with us when this goes on and when we hit these parabolic rises. Now, moving forward, I want to make another thing clear, because there's been a lot of talks, and this AMA really is my opportunity and the team's opportunity to address not only your concerns and your questions, but to also make some statements to help collectively for the community, help us grow together, but also stay in each other's lanes and understand the nature of the beast. What do I mean by that? See, Taboo is a global, world-known business right now. We are sitting at a valuation of nearly 10 million market cap at the moment. Yes, we are extremely undervalued. We've been around for many years, but I need to make something very clear. It is a privilege to have founders, co-founders, C-level executives of a global business like this coming on to these AMAs and chatting with their communities. It is not something that should be demanded. It is a privilege. So while some of you are asking and feeling impatient about updates, just remember Taboo is not a business that started in the first few months back in the earlier days. We will provide updates as and when they come, because we are a global business and we're not there to just handhold people. I need to make that very clear, because that's been something that's been brought up. The next thing that I want to speak about, and this has to do with live streaming, and I know many of you have wanted to share a little bit more, wanted us to share a little bit more about, give me one moment here. So I wanted us to share a little more about live streaming. So I will give you all a bit of a technical report update on live streaming. And I know some of you are going to be very happy to hear that as well. First thing that I will mention is this. On the prior AMA that we had in the Taboo Talks, our CMO did mention in a bit of a tentative time frame and language that, middle of June is when live streaming would be launched. And he was hoping for that based on his parameters of how he saw things and how we saw it at the time. That was not a public announcement that was announced in a way that was confirmed. But just know that we are making rapid progress on the launch of our live streaming, and we are wanting to make sure that we can maximize on the impact of its release, much like with our marketplace release. That was a colossal success as well. So with that being said, when it comes to the technical update report on our live streaming, I'm going to share this now. The first point I'm going to share on live streaming is going to be the technical feature list, which, by the way, will be released on Medium, most likely either over this weekend or early next week. So for the live streaming, the first thing I will mention is this. We have partnered with the development team that was behind building out the live streaming elements of OnlyFans. So we went with the best developers that money could buy. Second thing is this, when we get into the feature list as well. So what are some of the features that are coming? First and foremost, group-friendly public live streamings. There will be one-on-one private live streamings that can be booked on demand in calendar slots. You'll be able to book slots with your favorite models and live out your fantasies. There will be real-time chat functionalities for all participants. You'll be able to send emojis and text comments on public live streams. You'll be able to send tips to your favorite models while in between streams. There will be a new currency, on-site currency named Taboo, which I'll touch upon briefly. Models can start, pause, and end the live stream. Audiences can join and leave the live streams. We will be using high-quality video audio streaming. We are going to be allowing scalability to support a large number of concurrent users. There will be low latency for real-time interactions. We have secure communication and data handling in place. There will be cross-platform support on both web and mobile. Yes, we've spoken in prior announcements about a minimum holding criteria to join any live stream. We are implementing CDNs in streaming to give users the real best time experience. Our centralized servers are going to ensure high quality, low latency audio and video transmission from the host to the audience to enable real-time text communication among all participants, handling message broadcasting, and ensure the chat's reliability and scalability as well. So there's a lot of features coming to live streaming, okay? And the vision that we've had, before I share an even bigger update, which, by the way, I've just caught wind of, that I am allowed to publicly share. So everyone that's here on the call now, you're going to get a firsthand, I would say, knowingness of this, because this has not been shared publicly. So stand by on that. I just caught wind of this, that I have permission to share this as well. So with the live streaming, we did have some questions from people about how our model is going to be paid, in fiat or in the Taboo token. I just want to first help you all visualize what we're aiming to do here. See, our marketplace came out with fiat on-ramping and on-site custodial wallet solutions. So someone who is looking at one of Chloe Terre's posts when she's promoting live streaming says, I want to see Chloe in a live stream. They go onto the marketplace. But we know there's a learning curve when it comes to people getting involved in crypto. So how do we seamlessly simplify those modes of interaction from the user for them to be able to engage in owning our token and spending it to enjoy, you could call it, premium content with one of our supermodel partners? Well, the way that we've come up with this is we want people, even on the Web2 side especially, to feel that just like if you're at a casino or you're at an arcade, there is, you can call them in-house currencies on site, is how we're looking at it. So someone purchases Taboo easily, seamlessly, with a wallet made for them, and having Taboo tokens now given to them. They want to participate and use those tokens. There will be an on-site currency called X Taboo. It'll be an automatic swap. They're going to see that balance there, like it's a casino currency, casino chip that they're able to use, like it's, an arcade coin that they're able to use to play games. And then they're going to be able to then partake and enjoy tipping and using the tokens for live streaming. So this is something that I want to make clear on that, so you understand that we're trying to make the interaction so simple and so seamless so that we can really target Web2 users, in addition to all of the Web3 marketing that we do on an ongoing day-to-day basis, from grassroots to the mid-range to the top levels of crypto marketing as well. So just want to make that clear. So moving forward, live streaming is coming imminently. We want to make sure we build it right the first time. This is a catalyst that I believe is bigger than one of the biggest catalysts that you can have, apart from, various exchange listings that can come as well, in terms of accessibility and being able to have people, more eyes and more exposure for people to have the opportunity to own us. It's coming. I will share a technical Medium article update and some logical flow aspects of live streaming as well in a Medium article sometime after this call. We will be having our models now posting about live streaming. That is on the way as well. Okay, so stand by on all of that. We're just readying up these campaigns, and we're more than excited to share them with all of you. And I believe that will bring realness to our live streaming launch as well. Now, moving forward, I've just caught in wind of this. I have had some people share with me in the background that we're able to share the name of this. So this is an exchange, and we're going to drop the name now. They're a top tier 1 exchange called HTX. You can look them up. They are an exchange that have invited us from their own will. They came and approached us, and they said, we would like you to participate in a vote listing for our community, and they would like to do some kind of giveaway with us. They're trying to work out some details there. They've approached us, and it's a top tier exchange. They want us to participate in some kind of community voting round with them. Of course, this is great marketing exposure for us. This is great publicity for us. This is a great way for the community to unify, but it requires some effort from the community, because there will be a voting criteria that needs to be followed. If we get the most votes, we get to list on them. I think that's a beautiful bonus to have, in addition to our other top tier exchanges that are in the pipeline that we have NDAs on currently, and that we are in the midst of trying to list on. We were very candid with them and said that, we have these other listings that are on the way. They said, we understand, but we're going to allow you to participate in this. We really want Taboo to be a part of this. So we've made a decision as a core team that we are going to participate in that. And I think that is a very, very bullish piece of news as well. So, that's how we see it. So there is a top tier exchange that would like us to participate in some kind of community voting mechanism. We'll share more details about that soon. I believe, and the rest of the core team believes, we can win that. And I think, we're looking at this like a community engagement initiative, which I believe we really need to rally together. And I think this might be the perfect avenue to do that, where we can rally together, show the world that we are unified, get listed on a tier one exchange as a bonus tier one exchange listing is the way that we look at it, because they've approached us, but it requires some community effort as well, right? So this is something that we're going to be pulling the trigger on, but I need each and every one of you to be laser focused on staying positive, because if their community is going to be voting on projects, they're going to be coming into our chat, much like all those people from the Altcoin Daily interview came in and they saw people talking about the impending doom of Taboo, when really we're top 1,000 crypto, we're 50 times below our all-time high, and I just shared a tier one exchange catalyst with all of you. So let's keep ourselves in check, let's not get in our own ways, and let's try to win this thing, because I think we have a very high chance of winning it. Does that sound fair, everyone? Great. Good. So with that being said, I've shared some general updates here, let's now move forward to some questions. Now, I have had some questions that Rich, our community manager, has just shared just moments ago. He sent me the list. What I will do is, throughout some of the other questions that are being asked, I will then start to answer some of these. Again, the goal for me is to address concerns and to ensure that our community and everyone else that's tuning into this, we're able to move forward in a positive, efficient way, and so that we can continue to grow together, because I always say we are nothing without our community, but I don't want the community to turn on themselves, okay? I've seen that happen on projects before, right? It only hurts the community members, not for us. We're gonna keep moving forward. So with that being said, I'd like to open up the floor to questions now. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask now. And just remember that if you have a question, chances are someone else wants to ask that question too.
How are you going to go out with the question? Because I think everyone can speak at the same time.
Oh, actually, yeah. Make sure if you want to ask a question, correct. Yeah, just click on your name on this list of members here, and click Ask to Speak, and then I will allow you to speak and unmute you. So I believe that's okay. Or I believe if you want to speak, you can just speak right away. Let me just double check here. Trying to double check on this here.
I think everyone has the option to speak now. I think nobody's muted.
Okay, great. Just make sure we're not talking over each other as well. Thank you, Meta Up. So feel free to ask some of your questions. This is not really a Taboo talk. It's more of a Taboo AMA. So I do want to really address and answer everyone's questions. If I don't hear any questions, I will just work through the list that Rich provided me from the community members that shared their views and their questions prior to this AMA.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Hi, this is Crypto City from India.
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, I needed to ask that in the app, what Taboo token will be used as a currency or not? This is the first, and the second question is, I already asked in the chat also that what will be the scope of mentioned event which will be happening in November or December later this year? like scope like tickets, accommodation, and everything else. And third is means I'll join it in like so. When will be the snapshot? Thank
Okay,
you.
okay, yeah, very, very good question. So again, we have already announced in November that we are going to be having our second Mansion event. For anyone that hasn't heard or doesn't know, our first Mansion event was a colossal success. We had celebrity chefs, DJs, all of our supermodel partners were there. It was in the beautiful island of Phuket in Thailand. Our top tier holders were in attendance, our tier 4 holders, which, by the way, if you're new here on the call, you need to be owning a minimum of 10,000 US dollars in Taboo tokens in a wallet or staked. Staked amounts will also count and contribute to that. Because of its success, we've decided we're going to obviously start our second event. And as you all know, if you've read the white paper and you're familiar with Taboo's business model, while we are the leading adult entertainment crypto on blockchain now, and we are the most premium brand available right now in the adult fee space, we also equally have an entertainment aspect to our business where we're bridging the gap of blockchain and we're connecting it to real world events. So the next event is going to be in November. We're going to make this one bigger and badder than it was before, and even better than it was before. Better in a positive sense here of the term. And we're going to be having more promotions earlier on this. We're going to be giving tier 4 holders more of a chance to actually be able to attend. So in terms of snapshot, we haven't decided on the exact cutoff, I would say, day of the month, but please anticipate that it will be much earlier than it was when we had provided that snapshot a few years ago in 2022. That's the first part of that. Second part of the question that you had asked is about the scope on what gets included. Obviously, for obvious reasons, I think flights and accommodations, will be on the holder, of course. That's subject to change. If that changes at any point, we will inform the community. But it is a fully expensed trip for everything that is included within that week/weekend for that entire duration of that whole week. And I believe your last question, CryptoSetchia, was around about Taboo being used as a currency. Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, whenever the platform goes live and there will be models available to talk or whatever it is, okay, for the adult entertainment, then like if is there is like is there going to be a paid something like that? Like currently we can see on so many websites like on webcam girls that you can have a private session with them and all those things. That for that you have to pay some premium amount. So that amount will be USDC or USDT or Taboo token.
Yeah. Okay. I apologize. I really, really apologize. My microphone got a little cut out there. Can you please just repeat that part on the currency side just one last time? I apologize on that. It was on my side, and then I will answer that.
Like yeah. If there is a like if someone wanted a private session with the model, okay, then for that like for that time, the time will be consumed for US dollar or the Taboo token. Like
Okay. Yes. Great question. So
how much?
we are. So the details of the mathematics behind it, that's subject to the core team upon launch of live streaming, where we're going to be deciding that. I'll give an example in terms of some of the fee structures between the models and the company. This is not set in stone just yet, but just as an example, obviously the platform has to gain some earnings as well. Maybe it's an 80-20 split. 80% goes to the model, 20% goes to Taboo. And we are going to, for the tipping, which, to answer your question, will be in X Taboo. It's the on-site currency that I mentioned earlier in the introduction. Okay, so there will be some swap where Taboo converts to an on-site currency. Tipping will happen in X Taboo, which really is pretty much our native token, because there's going to be the ability to transfer across them. Okay, what we are going to be doing, which is another bullish thing for everyone to hear, is on the tipping side, everything that we earn On the company side, we are going to be burning them all. So we are going to be creating burn mechanisms within tipping. Now, to confirm your question and the answer there, it's going to be it's going to be essentially X Taboo, which is related to our native token. So it's not going to be USDT. It's not going to be anything to do with fiat or other cryptos. We want to make sure we preserve the strength of the native token. This is what I believe is a differentiator for what we're doing. But of course, we will consider different kinds of mechanisms or models depending on how the traffic and interest looks when we go live with live streaming. Of course, we need to also preserve the integrity of our native token. I know there was another question that was asked from Rich's set of questions was about price fluctuations with the Taboo token, given that we're going to be tipping and let's say the tips are going to be X Taboo, which is essentially our native token, but for that on-site currency. But what if the models want to cash out and profit? I'm going to answer that question here for everyone so it's clear. We have arrangements and special relationships with our supermodel partners where they are not going to, for a very long period of time, even consider selling off any of their Taboo. And they're going to, because this is a two-pronged approach where Taboo and Taboo's community of loyal holders and the way that we market our models to bring them traffic is one side, but our models have to also be independent models too, and have to market themselves and brand themselves and bring traffic over to our marketplace as well. So it's a two-way street. We understand that. They can only work if both ways are in unison with one another. But those models, some of their tokens, they may do giveaways on their Instagram profiles and pages, right? They may say, okay, we're going to give away this many Taboo tokens, for this. If you show up and attend my live stream, one of you will get to win 100,000 Taboo tokens or what have you. So in terms of that, there's that. Now, because we have fiat on-ramping in place where Web2 users are going to easily buy Taboo on the marketplace, we are already thinking of the mechanics and the logics and the operational side of things on what happens if a model wants to cash out. We're going to have reserve funds available. This will be kind of centralized where, if the model wants to then eventually start taking profits, we already have, based on on-site fiat transactions, fiat to Taboo, we'll already have the USDT and we'll already have the crypto available for them. So in that way, we are supporting and ensuring that our market cap and our valuation always stays good, but we're also still getting the interest and the traffic that we want from their loyal fans who will then, while they're in our ecosystem and the way we gamify it, probably buy Taboo more on the markets too, as well as on site and so on and so forth. So I just want to make that very clear. I know that was a very long answer. I think with that, I'd like to move to some new questions here, and I hope I answered your question as well. So great. Any other questions here on the call specifically?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions because I remember Taboo from the first days. I remember everything about it. Like I left for probably over a year, but a few questions like where did the funds come from to like develop all these things? Like was it because Taboo has just been going down? If I look like at the chart, and I'm like, was there any venture capital? How did it work? And how is everything getting paid and supported?
Yeah, good question. So, we said this from the very beginning, and this was something that we took pride in, and then we have taken pride in that. This was a self-funded business and campaign, and one thing I loved, especially when I came on, is the idea of having skin in the game. I think if you want to know if people are dedicated to a certain cause and if they're going to stay the course to carry out whatever plans or promises that they have, I think having skin in the game is very, very important. There are too many crypto projects that take the easy route. They'll dilute their business very early on because of greed and VCs deals that want to be in place as well. And that's something that we never did. It was a self-funded business, and we have been for a very long time. Of course, there was another. I'm happy you brought this up because there was a question that was also on the list from our community manager around a $10 million investment that was mentioned a number of the other year actually. And there was a question from a member about how will that affect, obviously, based on our current market cap and based on, kind of what potential sell pressures could happen on some kind of deal like that. There was some concern there. I want to make something very clear on this. That $10 million investment that was announced, this really is a facility. It's a $10 million facility where the core team can draw down as and when they see fit. So we have always done everything in our power to preserve the token, to ensure that we're doing best for you and by you in a selfless way. We did make an announcement the other year about earlier in the year about a $2 million investor that came in. Instead of doing a traditional VC type deal, which we could have done, we said, no, you have to buy up on the open market on a DEX too. So there were also questions from members that were saying, well, where is that $2 million investment? Where is it? What happened? Going back to my introduction, folks, at the end of the day, it's very simple, buy pressure versus sell pressure. But there has been a serious redistribution of holders that has gone on over the last few months in a way that is going to benefit us and help us on our inevitable upswing. See, I am of the mindset and of the way of thinking where if people want to exit at these really discounted prices, do it now. Don't do it when we're 100 times higher. I actually enjoy it. I like it, but that's just my mindset because I already know where we're heading and I know where we are now and where what we need to do to get there. So to answer your question, we've been majorly self-funded, and we've had, even the investor announcements we've made are not traditional VC deals, and I think that's something that speaks to the power and strength and virility of the Taboo company.
All right, I got two more questions. The first one, because I'm not sure how it actually works. Like Taboo as a company, I know you were saying 10 million valuation, but that's the token. How does it differ? Like Taboo, the whole thing about Taboo, like the whole company, and Taboo the token, like the guy that's buying to 2 million or the 10 million investment, obviously doesn't go in the Taboo token because it's not like 100% of the structure of Taboo in general. So
right.
how does it work?
I mean, to be quite frank with you, I'm not a legal expert. I wasn't the one that facilitated these kinds of arrangements. I've just explained publicly the nature of it. It's not something that I can answer at the moment because it's obviously not my expertise, and I don't really feel that that's also something that is important for the community to know. But I'm also not in a position to speak about it, so I apologize. That's actually not something that I'm comfortable to speak about. I only like to share things that I'm in the full know-how, and also if I'm in a position to be able to share it, knowing that I have the right to speak about it, but I am not the expert in that area. So I apologize about that.
All right. So my last one about the models. Like I know you've been getting great models and really nice gals to come in and join Taboo, but for now it's always been about NFTs and things that didn't really went big in the fact that the adoption it's more it's more niche a little bit, like crypto people and everything. For sure, the streaming platform is a huge thing compared to it, but what's the relation with them? Can they just leave? What's the retention plan? Because for sure, now, I don't know what makes them stay with Taboo now, because maybe it's only the, how would I say? Sorry, I'm not English, but they stay for the future aspect of making maybe more, but do they have contracts? How does it work with them? Because we don't see them shield too much things about Taboo. But for sure, why would they shill if they're not making money out of it? I know the streaming is gonna make a whole difference, but what's the retention with them? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, all of our models that have been with us have stayed with us. I think that's something we do very good. We don't do things in a traditional way. I'd be very candid with everyone here. Our models are independent people. They're allowed. I know people sometimes say, "Oh, why is this model affiliated with this brand or this project or that?" If you really want to drive a supermodel away from ever working with you, is when you start to impose restrictions and control on them. We've never done that. We are that fun, classy brand where they want to be a part of our brand. Look at Jaylene in the chat. She's excited and happy The moment we decide we have big news and we're ready to share it, they're on board with us. We have model contracts that are signed at, for example, at our last mansion event, when we do photo shoots with our models, there are contracts that are being signed about the distribution and the rights of creation of those NFTs, how Taboo owns those rights. We have all these safeguards in place, but we do not own them. And I would never want to own them either. So, in terms of retention, the way that we've gone about it, we have nearly perfect retention because of that. All we have to do for our next mansion event is just share with them about the next mansion event coming and how they're all going to be able to attend. And you should see, just like in 2022, how all of them was promoting it in a way where we never even needed to do anything other than share it with them. They took the bull by the horns and they went ahead and did it. So this is the thing that we focus on, and that's, I don't know if that answers your question or not, but this is sort of the style in which we go about working with our supermodel partners.
Yeah, all right. Okay, because my only concern in general about Taboo is as long as you land like really nice models and that they can like fuel the streaming platform and everything, for sure it's gonna go like super nice. It's just the fact that they need to be there. They're like
Exactly. And money's the best motivator, of course. So let's make sure that, everyone here on this call, when we have certain models promoting live streaming, book a live stream with them, get to know them, tip them generously, be nice, tip them nice, incentivize them to come. I mean, we can only control so much. They have to have some control that they need to partake to bring some of their fans. And we're going to do our part. They're going to do their part. You do your part. And I promise it's all going to work out just more than fine, actually, more than fine.
That's actually something I thought about yesterday, and I almost forgot. Do you have like a plan to push the streaming forward with like, because for sure in the beginning maybe they're not gonna make money because it's not known enough. The people that's been buying are sometimes buying for speculation, not really to pay models and go like on live streams. Like if I'm talking about myself and probably a lot of other crypto people, but we see the potential. It's just, do you have like some funds or something prepared to like make the streaming run nicely in the beginning where probably the money is not going to be there for the models?
Now, we always have plans in place. We obviously want this to be a successful launch on live streaming, much like all of you. So, the team is well aware of all the risk factors and everything that comes with this. We believe that it's going to be extremely successful, in part because, our models are on board with this. And we know that once they start earning, they're going to want to keep coming back more. So this is a case of let's launch and let's see how it goes. I'm very bullish and positive on it. On my side, of course, if there's going to be areas that need to improve, we're going to know once the product is launched. It's like we're building the bike, and you get on the bike and we see how it works. And, maybe we need to make some adjustments along the way, some refinements in our process. There's an experiential aspect to this as well. So we're looking forward to that. Great. So, is anyone else here on the call that has any other questions that is on your mind here?
Evet, X list summit diyor. Ne demek o?
I can hear you, Mehmet. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. What is your question, sir?
Hello. Can I speak?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because he is not speaking right now. Okay. My question was like just now you said that money is required for the any business to run, right? So what will be the revenue stream for Taboo? Like you said that 20% will go to the it will get burned, okay, and 80% will go to the models. Then from where the revenue will be generated for Taboo?
Yeah, so take a look at the white paper. There are many revenue streams that are there. Even from our NFT marketplace, we have revenue streams based on the tiering model of the whatever tier you are, and on the NFT marketplace,
Coin yazmış bir tanesi.
Just like an auction house would take a fee as well. So we have that in place. We have a lot of other areas that are coming. Our merchandise store is coming as well. Taboo is still earning a 20%, and they will be on the live streaming elements. We are continuously trying to earn and create new revenue streams as well. So it's always in the forefront of our minds. I mean, we look at even the Taboo Punks that we released, that NFT collection a few years back. We rose nearly $1 million out of that. I know the NFT market is not in the best place at the moment, but obviously you can sure as hell bet that near $1 million was used to fuel and funnel development, marketing, and pushing our project forward. I would almost argue that fundraise that we did there was one of a really big driver that helped us get to our prior all-time highs. So we're constantly looking at various ways to earn and generate revenue. The merchandise store that's coming is going to be a big way of doing it. Our metaverse that's going to be on the way. It's functionally ready. It's almost ready for release. That's going to be there. But of course, to answer your question further, we are in talks with our developers, because part of what they do is an advisory type basis as well, on exactly this aspect of what you're asking, which comes down to the most logical ways in which we can generate revenue streams. So this is something that we're always working on, and I hope that answers your question there. So thank you for that. And I will say that the goal is, of course, to become that's the goal of any crypto project, actually, is to become a self-revenue driven business fully, right? And that's also one of the reasons, I will make this very clear, we haven't, we have our 4% tax. We did lower it from a higher percentage before. 3% goes to an LP / you can call it marketing wallet, or liquidity wallet is what it is really, because getting onto exchanges require liquidity. We use that to help also fund liquidity onto exchanges, which is important for us to get listed. And we have the 1% burn, but our goal is to continue to drop these fees, as and when we continue to generate all of these, traditional revenue streams that are coming, and that some of them are already in place. So, we do eventually, our goal is we want to become a taxless token, but there's a balancing act that we have to do there, because as we don't have unlimited supply. We don't have a mint function on our project. We would never even want that to begin with. So yeah, good. So perfect. Any other questions here on the call?
Just a quick question. Since you mentioned merch, do you have a timeline on that, or like an estimate?
Paul's the best person that to speak on that, because he's sort of spearheading a lot of the merchandise side. So what I'll do is I'll speak to him after the call, and then I will once I can get some clarity on that, I'm happy to send you a DM as well, Shovel, and give you a bit of a tentative. Again, this would be a one-on-one kind of tentative on that. And when we're ready to make, I would say, kind of a more traditional announcement on its release, then we'll happily do that to the public.
Cool. Sounds good.
Perfect.
Are we working?
Yeah, go on.
Are we working on the listing side of the Taboo token on Binance?
Obviously Binance is the big kahuna exchange. Obviously that's kind of one of the overarching missions of any cryptos, to get onto Binance. Obviously, as we get onto more tier one exchanges, Binance will naturally follow. And with that being said, again, as a reminder to anyone here, we did get approached by HTX. It's the top 8 exchange. It's considered a tier one exchange. They want us to participate in a community voting style, I would call it, mechanism. James and I and the rest of the core team decided, why not? This is a great community-based initiative. It's good exposure. It gets our name out there. It's good marketing. We'd obviously like to win it. I think that'd be a nice, additional tier one exchange, or top 10 exchange apart from Gate. And it will also complement, I think, our live streaming launch, as well as the other top exchanges that are in our pipeline that we've mentioned on prior announcements as well. So yeah, Binance is obviously the end game. I believe, don't quote me on this, I think Binance, we eventually, I believe we would have to be a taxless token to be qualified to list on there. So that also should speak to all of you about how, and give you some confirmation that we will eventually go taxless as a token, because we do have Binance in our minds as well. So great question. Any other questions here on the call? And if you may be too shy to speak, you can ask them within the chat.
Okay, one last.
Yeah.
I'm asking too many.
Go ahead.
That right now the Taboo token is on Binance BSC chain only, right? So are we planning to take it take it to next any other chain, or we are making it multi-chain through
Absolutely.
the OMI or layer zero?
Absolutely. We are planning to go cross-chain. I would say that all hands are on deck at this very moment to have a successful live streaming launch. Once we get the live streaming launch out, then of course we're going to veer our minds and attention to some other developments, finish them off, which they are being worked on in the background anyways, like, getting the merchandise store out, starting the real promotional campaigns for our next Mansion event, allocating resources into development and getting our developers moving forward on elements like cross-chain. So yes, we are planning to go cross-chain. I believe that there's a time and place for everything. And I think that right now, I think the best focus for the team is to have as successful of a live streaming launch as possible. But to answer your question, yes, absolutely. We are planning to go cross-chain. It is on the roadmap. Perfect. Great questions, by the way. Any other questions here on the call? If I don't hear any more in the chat or on the call, what I will do is I will start to answer more of the questions that were pre-shared before the AMA too.
Yeah, I just got a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so just you mentioned the Taboo punks. They've fallen a bit by the wayside, but you did mention, I think about a month or two ago, that you were thinking about bringing back utility to them. Is that still in the plan, and what's going to happen with them going forward?
Absolutely. It is part of our plans as well. We do. And actually, this was a question I think a community member had asked. So, the Taboo punks already did have an existing utility where by owning a Taboo punks, you could bypass the tiering requirements of the token holdings to access more premium content on the marketplace. Of course, you don't become a tier 4 holder, you just become a functional tier 4 holder, meaning you're not going to get invited to the live Mansion events by owning a Taboo punk, but on the marketplace as a utility, you would be able to bypass the tiering requirements of the token holdings necessary to access tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 content from the NFTs, one-of-a-kind NFTs that were made from the photo shoots with our supermodel partners for the art that you can buy, the NFT art. What I will say is, because we were building the new marketplace, it was an entirely new marketplace built from scratch onwards. I know people have asked about why has that been removed. It wasn't that it was removed. It was a developmental priority that was moved to the wayside, but it is now being re-implemented. So stand by. It's going to be added back onto the current marketplace, so that instant utility will be back. But with regards to the Taboo punks, yes, they are going to have even more utility when our metaverse comes out as well. They're going to have even more utility when we start to move into the AI, VR, and AR aspects of our roadmap as well. So more will be unveiled on that. The truth is, the NFT market, I'm not going to say that it's been dead, but it hasn't been. If the altcoin season isn't even here yet, then NFT season is definitely not here, like it was back in the prior bull run as well. So its time will come. Its time will come. Great question, by the way. So I think Barnes asked the question, what is the potential of Taboo? Well, it's inherent in the nature and DNA of any, I would say, crypto token to try to get to its prior all-time high and surpass it. So the potential, I would say, is at minimum our prior all-time high of nearly 650 million market cap. And I would say the potential here, we can become anywhere between a top 10 to top 100 token because we are leading the adult fee space for this. And this leads me into actually one of the questions that a community member had asked as one of the pre-AMA questions as well, which our community manager shared with me. And this had to do with, I would say it was about OnlyFans. And the question was, given OnlyFans is an already established brand and the complexity of Taboo, what will distinguish Taboo from OnlyFans in such a way that it has an edge on OnlyFans and people will see the benefit. I'm going to be completely candid with everyone here. Any project or company, and we were in Dubai, by the way, James and I, which was great for networking on Taboo, and we met a lot of amazing people, and this was earlier this year. There were people there that were investing such heavy money to try to come up with the next OnlyFans killer, and it never worked. The point I'm trying to make is this: we don't need to be an OnlyFans killer. That actually reduces our brand value, because any Joe Schmo or schmuck or lady can just go onto OnlyFans, create terrible content. So, and that's not what we are. We are a premium exclusive brand. We work with supermodel partners that are global icons. We have a selection criteria in place at the moment for the model talent that comes on. And so we're not trying to be an OnlyFans killer. Why would we want to do that? You're fighting a losing battle from the very beginning. And I actually think it's a bit of a gimmick for any company or project, as a warning out there. If you're trying to invest or diversify elsewhere, anyone that's trying to claim they're an OnlyFans killer is full of, pardon my language, BS. We don't need to be an OnlyFans killer. We're carving our own niche. We have our own brand value. We're in our own category as a business in the adult fee space. And we are already extremely unique as it is. So I just want to make that very clear. I made that extremely clear as well with Altcoin Daily on that interview. And that was actually part of the subheadings that on that video release was the fact that Taboo's not an OnlyFans killer. So we don't need to worry about that. It's a non-issue in my mind. It would be more of an issue for all of you if we tried to claim that we were trying to become an OnlyFans killer. But moving on from that. So, great. Any other questions here on the call or within the chat? Okay, I will start to go through some of the questions. Good. Great. So the next question here was, has country been determined for the next mansion party? Stand by on that. We haven't fully agreed yet on the location. So we will share that information as and when we're able to. And I think I've actually covered just through conversing with all of you here between questions and within my answers. I think I covered all the pre-AMA questions here. Let me just double check. Good. Right. Real Warrior had asked, after live streaming goes live, we'll have some % of tokens burned from the chips sent to models, but will you remove or change the buy and sell tax for this? At the moment, we're not removing the buy and sell tax. So, the Taboo as a business is going to swallow those taxes, much like how if you stake your tokens, there's a contract. There's a contractual change that goes on the blockchain, which theoretically you should be taxed, but you're not because we swallow the tax. So we're okay with that for now until we're in a position where we want to remove our buy and sell taxes. So that's the first thing. The second question is, in one of the AMAs, it was mentioned Crypto Banter will be another partner as Altcoin Daily. When are we planning to involve them? So we have had a couple of I would say integrations and marketing campaigns with Altcoin Daily. We're hoping to have more with them. They are a very, very good exposure-based channel. What I will say is Altcoin Daily itself, they never bring projects on that they think will not be here in the next 5 to 10 years. They only bring on projects in that interview fashion, by the way, projects that they feel are going to stand the test of time and are going to be here for the foreseeable future. So just the fact that we got onto that platform as a speaking engagement should ruffle your feathers in all the best ways. Okay? So so that's something I want to make very, very clear there. And again, that video was released during a time when the market was not all that great. So the effect is not important. What's important is thousands of people now know about Taboo. And what do you think is going to happen the moment we throw in some triggers, the moment the catalysts come, the moment the moment they see that we've 2 or 3 times from the moment they heard about us. That's when the FOMO and the hype really comes in. And that's where all that time spent was good time spent. Just understand the nature of the beast, understand the nature of Taboo, understand the explosive potential of Taboo, and also understand the whole world. Truly, I'm coming at this from a company lead standpoint, as a company lead, because there's a lot of jealousy and envy out there. There are a lot of people and entities that are hoping Taboo fails, but I thrive on that. I thrive on that, and I thrive on the haters. And I believe that the more hate and the more criticism you get, much like if you look at the comments on Altcoin Daily, you'll see there was a lot of negative comments about me being on there. I thrive off of that. That should show you all that you're in the right place. When you start to see people hiding behind a computer screen, trying to comment on my hair, for example, not on the facts about what is going to provide them a 10 to 100 time gain at this valuation, that's when you know we're doing something right. But I digress on that. I just found it really funny when I was reading some of those comments. I was laughing. But anyway, so besides that though, I'm just going to check if there's any other questions within the chat or on the call. Okay, I think I answered. Oh, I did answer. Good. I did answer. I believe I did answer. Oh yeah, great. So there was another question here. It was asked around the circulating supply on Taboo as well. Again, I don't know. There's been some talks from some community members. They're talking about our circulating supply not being right. I tell you one thing. This has been the same as it was when we first got onto CMC. That's not something that's going to change. CMC has their own criteria and methods in evaluating projects when they get listed on what they see as, what creates their circulating supply or not. It's not something that is an issue for us. I don't understand why people bring it up. It's been like this from the very beginning. I just wanted to address it and say that whatever you see on there, on how they report, is how it's being reported. Those are the numbers. And every listing platform, they might have their own other criteria that they follow, but that's the criteria that they went through for us, and that's just the way it is. So I think what I want the community to really do is, especially with the HTX listing, that we have a big chance of winning, I believe, provided the community rallies together on this. I think it's very bullish if we were to get onto HTX. And this is, by the way, a big financial burden on the company. And I was hesitant to bring this up. James and I did mention how we were considering not doing it because of the fact that we didn't believe our community was unified enough. Now I want to see the community unified for this. I think it's going to be a great listing for us, a nice little bonus, you can say. I think we can get onto it, but it's going to require all of our, I would say, community engagement to be at an all-time high, and people taking charge of their investments and voting and helping spread the word, because we have nearly 100,000 holders overall across all chains, and I think we can win. So, but with that being said, let's move on. I'm getting a little too passionate and excited here. I don't mean to keep rambling on this. So, good. Right, there was another question about models not mentioning Taboo in their socials. Okay, I alluded to this before. We don't own our models. We never want to control them. That's the best way to drive them away from your business. But they will be mentioning us in their socials in the build-up to our live streaming launch. They would be in the build-up to our mansion events. They will be in other times and areas. We used to do lots of photo shoots with them. They would promote us at will many times in the past for different events and arrangements. We believe in timing. We wanted to have fiat on-ramps in place. We wanted to have on-site wallet solutions in place. We wanted to have live streaming being near its launch for us to get all of our models to do a social media blitz. So it was just a timing thing. Just because they haven't mentioned us, just know it was strategic and intentional on our side. We didn't want them to do it yet. It's very simple. When we weren't ready for them to post yet. But now their fans can actually own Taboo from one of their posts. How amazing is that? I think it's amazing. Great. Any other questions here before we wrap up the call? Great. So with that being said, I think this is a good time to wrap up the call. Again, as a reminder, our live streaming feature utility is right around the corner. We want to make sure that I did make it clear June 15th was never fully announced, but it's getting out as soon as possible. Our mass model campaigns are on the way. We're aiming to have mass adoption of our native token. I did talk about the importance of community positivity in the chat. I did talk about how bullish it is for us to have been on platforms like Altcoin Daily. I did talk about how HTX, a top 10 exchange, wants us to participate in a community engagement kind of a voting initiative where really it's up to us if we win or not, if we all pool together and actually be active on their voting criteria that we'll be sharing imminently as well. And I just want to congratulate all of you again for being here on the call, for seeing the vision and the path forward on Taboo, and for doing your parts to set the right example. Because at the end of the day, I believe that if one person does the right thing, people will follow. So let's all do our part. Let's stay positive in the chat. I went up there and I was on a big forum, exposure forum like Altcoin Daily, and I love that new people have come in, but at the time there was some negativity and FUD in the chat. And that would have dissuaded me as a new investor. So let's not shoot ourselves in the foot. Let's create the right atmosphere for the new eyes that hear about us so we don't derail our efforts. And remember, Taboo is very close to an explosion. We had this happen in 2021. We continued to have a redistribution of holders all the time. We hit 15 million, back to 5, down to 2, down to 8, back to 5, up to 15 again, down to 11. It was just a volatility city. And then before you knew it, bam, we flew up to 25 million. We flew up to 100 million. And then within a month, we went to nearly 650 million market cap. But now look at the scale difference. Now we went down to 10 million. Then we went up to, Gate hit 0.0055 a few months back, by the way. So over almost 55 million market cap. Now we were down to about 6 million at our lowest bottom in years. And then now we're at 10. So the scale is different. What do you think is going to happen on the next upswing? Let's let that sink in. Besides that, I'm very happy to be on the call. As always, we're going to do more and more community-based AMAs. I'm hoping to continue to do it on a bi-weekly basis. Stay tuned for more news. And let's get the ball rolling, everyone. And let's remember that Taboo is a global established business right now, which is continuing to build its roots and continuing to now expand out its foundations. So, we're not here for some short-term gains. We're here to build a legacy business that truly will be here for generations to come. So these temporary fluctuations here and there, and how some community members might be feeling impatient, just remember, do not get in your own way, because we're going to be moving our own way. We want you there with us, but please don't step and get in your own way. And let's remember why we're here and why we own Taboo and where we're going to be heading. And just smile and give yourselves a pat on the back for having the foresight, intellect, wits, and smarts to know in your hearts that you are in the right place at the right time with the right business model, in the right industry, with the right team and the right leadership that's going to help get you to your goals and help us all grow together. Thanks, everybody.